Guys, good afternoon. I love seeing you and spending some time with you, not only with you, but also with my beautiful wife. How are you, honey?
I'm so good. I love this time with you.
Is that
Feels
really?
like things kind of pause for a second, right?
Do you look forward to this moment? Is
I-
that kind of
so
what I'm
much.
getting?
I love to stare into your eyes and hear business from you.
Don't get lost in my eyes.
I'm lost.
I know that's what you told me when I met you. I only heard it one time and that's it. You didn't hear it. You didn't say it again ever. So this is the second time, 10, 12 years later. Thank you, baby.
No, yeah, that was you. You were like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me?
I'm falling in love. Is that what it was happening?
You were. I was speechless. I couldn't even talk. Remember, I would just stare. You were like, what's wrong?
Well, I would say this. Trying to connect that with what we're trying to talk about
Hi,
today.
friends.
How you doing?
It's so good to see you guys.
So what's the topic of today, sweetie? Is it about the entrepreneurship as redemption? And when I was thinking about it and running some of the ideas with you and redemption, isn't that like a powerful word for you?
It's so powerful.
And that was your idea. Entrepreneurship as redemption. Healing through building.
I love it.
And I think you got quite a bit on that, healing through building. So we can exchange some of those experiences that you and we had, and also get an angle that can put this into perspective. So when the world told us no, we figured out how to get our own yes.
Yeah, we build our own yes.
You build our own yes.
Yes.
So I think that's the tagline for this episode. Besides building businesses through redemption and what that looks like and why you would do it as a redemption instead of doing it for money. And I think we have a little bit of that to say. So thoughts on that?
It's going to be so good. We are so excited for another episode. I am Tiffany, and this is my amazing, smart, talented, super handsome husband, Luis, and we just love doing this with you guys. We're your host of Caminante, a podcast where cultures collide
and empires rise.
I love it.
Yes, I do. So here's the thing for this episode. It is about, for some people, building businesses is because of necessity, for money. And I think that's an important part of it. Don't get me wrong. I think we all do that because at the end of the day, there's a reward and money can become a tool and you can do more things. But then for others, depending on the life cycle, it is about redemption. It is about trying to regain some of that power that you may have had at one point. Trying to get back to the different people that may have said no to you. You can't do it. Probably for those that actually experience, moving to other countries and starting all over again, for some reason you get that feeling of starting fresh from zero and just having nothing. It gives you that fire on the belly of, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready, world. I'm going there and I'm going to do it my way this time. And I think we have quite a bit of that between, you, me, and the audience. I think the audience have been talking and sharing thoughts and ideas of what the next topic would look like. And I thought that it would be great to talk about this. Why you would do what you do when it comes to building businesses, because you are knowing the necessity now. But have you found in that process certain redemption? That you're doing it for healing, you're doing it for, I don't know if the right word is vengeance, or trying to just prove the world that you can actually do it?
Well, I love, you said something that really stood out, and it is life cycle. And I feel like there's different phases and different seasons that we just go through. Hopefully, we are going through them, moving forward through them, and not getting stuck in them. And today we're talking about entrepreneurship as redemption. When building something becomes the path to reclaiming dignity, identity, and really finding that purpose.
So it's about rewriting a story, because sometimes the world tries to write a story for you. And I think sometimes starting a business from scratch, you're actually rewriting a story, but through your own lenses instead of from the world lenses. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because that gives you power. That gives you the strength, the inner strength, the fire in the belly to be able to push against obstacles and challenges when things get really hard. People say, where do you get that inspiration from, right? And I think that's where you get it from. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, whether it could be moving to a new country, or it could just be overcoming challenges and things that were, you know, holding you down or holding you back. And, you know, we find this strength to move forward in those challenging moments. And I feel like we talk about that, you know, a lot. And maybe your reason or your purpose is, you know, vengeance. Maybe you're like, no, I'm just not going to, you know, go back or let my life be how it once was. Right. So, you know, you have that, whatever that motivation or that drive, something needs to be stirring to, you know, whatever that is.
I like that. I like something has to be steering. So I remember this very young. I came to this country when I was 17, but when I graduated, you know, you really don't know too much, right? You think that you're ready. And I graduated from university, economics and finance. And when I went out there to the real world, I realized the different walls that I was facing, right? Not only because I didn't have any experience that I could bring to the table that my employers were looking for, but also things that I only knew, right? In my mind, my accent, the disconnect that I had with the culture. You know, I remember just, you know, talking about football. I mean, I appreciate the sport, but it is not something that I just spend hours watching every single weekend. I only see one major game, and you know it. When it comes to Super Bowl, that's the day that I really focus on appreciating the sport, because I think it's a great sport. But I'm not the type of guy that every single weekend follow the season.
Yeah, you're not a football and beer guy. That was super or like weird to me at first. I was like,
I like sports to play, but to spend time and sitting in there and drinking beer, that's just not my cup of tea. I like to produce, I like to create, I like to read, learning, and it's just different. But going back to what I was trying to say, I realized that I had an accent. My background was different. I didn't have any experience. I didn't have the same circle of friends. I didn't have the same taste of or likes of, you know, the people that I was dealing with. That every single thing was an obstacle for me.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point that you get really not only frustrated, but also start stirring inside of you that, like, man, I mean, I want to do so much, but I'm just not good enough. Right. There's just so much things that are against me. And I think that's kind of what built me up to today is that big lion that you have inside of you that you cannot unleash because of all these different things that you are hitting against the normal, right? The world. And I think that's why that tagline is really good, and it resounds to me. When everybody was saying no, I created my own yes.
Yeah.
When the world had a story for me, I created my own story against what that pattern looked like at one point.
Of course.
And I think that's powerful, because that's what I was trying to build in this episode when I was working with you on this is, how do you build a business and you do it in a way that you get redemption? What do you think?
Well, I saw how hard that was on you, and that story stuck with me. Like, I mean, it just blew my mind that you came here, literally put your finger like this on the map into just
Oklahoma.
like
That's where I ended when I came here. A Venezuelan Spanish guy going to Oklahoma.
No English. Like I just couldn't imagine going to sit in a college class and like hearing someone talk Spanish all day. Like I would be so depressed. I would just be like, I have to get out of here. Like if I'm around it too, yeah. So you're so amazing. And, you know, I can only imagine not just you, but so many foreigners are just different people with things that they may feel insecure about, or just things that look different to people. Like that's what makes us so unique as humans. And we can really, and any foreigners that I meet or that I work with, I always want to help shine this light on those differences so that people can really embrace them. And when you start to feel confident about those differences and really embrace them, like instead of feeling insecure about them, they don't have this stronghold on you anymore that you feel a certain way about. Instead, you're like, wow, wait, this makes me who I am. This can be a superpower. So, you know, there is some beauty in that when you really feel and embrace those differences.
So you know, going back to that story that you were talking about, I think that's what sparked something in me. And in the beginning, yes, I'm a very ambitious man. But I think in the beginning, it was because of necessity, right?
Right.
And you realize that you had to build your own path. You have to get your own yes, because the world that you're living in, either here or somewhere else, is different. And that doesn't determine your destiny. So that's when I realized that I have to have some sort of influence, because the control comes from God, but you have to have certain influence in your destiny to get your own yes. And that's how my first hurdle started, was through pain. It was painful. It was very hard for me to hit a wall from the cultural standpoint. All the odds are truly against you, right? When you're starting fresh in a different place, where you don't fit in cultural wise, you're just pretty much you against the world. That's how I felt. And that pain is what, and there's a song from Eminem that I love, that he talks about, you got to dig in and take that pain and convert it into that fire, that inspiration, that motivation that now is not negative, because pain is negative. But now you convert that energy into a more powerful, positive energy that now becomes your drive, your motivation. And you take that from inside and you just unleash that power.
Preach on.
So that's why building a business through redemption can be really powerful, because when you don't have that, business is so difficult and so challenging. That's why people quit on the way.
Right.
But if you have that, right, like what I found from my experience, which was pain at that time, and the frustration that I just don't fit in here. I don't see how I can make it work, because I'm in this, I see this uphill so far away, far off, that I really just, and you got all the odds against you. But when you take that and you convert it into that power, I think nobody can stop you. And that's why that tagline is super important in this conversation, is how do we do it through redemption? And I want to hear from you, baby.
Oh my
Please.
goodness.
Because I know you got quite a bit of story.
Well, I love your story because you took pain and you turned it into power. You took a difficult, challenging situation and you were stronger and you overcame it. And I remember when I first met you, just hearing that, I was like, this was something that I was really looking for in a guy. And sometimes I never told you this.
Tell me, baby.
But
tell me.
I would test you in certain situations to
really?
see like how resilient you were. Because, I was in this like quest, just this deep.
Yes, you were.
I was reading books. I was going to seminars. I was like finding the right person. Like I was trying to become the perfect person, work through any baggage, any hurts, habits, hangups, learn everything that I could to try to find I just wanted to make sure I get it right because that was it. I really only wanted to do it one time. And you had resilience. And that taught me so much about you as a person. Yes, of course, as a businessman, very successful, but what about as a husband?
Right.
What about as a father? So I had tested you out, and now you probably look back and you're like, oh, in certain situations where I was like,
you tested me. Yeah. I can see that now.
Let me see how bad he really wants it, the relationship. And you were solid, and that was impressive. Really, really impressive. So, for many of us, the journey starts not because we wanted to be husbands or wives or moms or dads or entrepreneurs, but, but because we had to become one.
That's right. Yeah. Somehow you have to be put in those positions, right? Like push. So that way you just, okay, I have to do it. Or did I die in the process or did I hide? So that's kind of what those events define people truly. And I think this is the time to probably get involved the audience, because I've been receiving, messages, comments through the different social platforms. And here's your question. Have you ever started something because no one opened the door for you? Give us your comments. I want to really hear about it, because I think this is becoming good. That building something through redemption is a powerful. There's a movie about it. Did you watch that movie, by the way?
If it was with you, probably.
No, it wasn't. That she doesn't watch movies, but I think it's called Redemption, which is pretty solid. Somebody ended up in prison, and there's a whole thing about redemption. Very, very good. So
I think I did see that.
So with that said, does that mean that business is somehow therapy? Is it therapy for you? If
for me,
you're doing or building something through redemption, does that help your mental health? Is that first small business that you started wasn't about making that 6-figure kind of number, but it was more about feeling like you matter again? Like you have control?
Oh, definitely a sense of control. You're not just building income. You're building confidence.
Yes.
You're building this purpose. You're, fanning this flame.
Yes.
that becomes this fire.
Yes. So I think that every step forward, when you're in this journey, it was proof that I could do something, that I wasn't just a number or an outsider. I grew up listening to, parents and other people that build their careers through corporate. And I always felt kind of like you have no control when that day comes for you. You're putting your life, your destiny in a company. And when they say, ciao, adios, great service, then what? Then what does that look like? And especially in countries that, you know, the economy is unstable, the political situation is unstable, and you just have given so much, right, to a company, a corporation, that then retiring, you're kind of like on your own. And hopefully you're in a place in where you build something, you save something, you have reserves, that you have a country that Social Security still exists, that pensions still exist. Because let me tell you, there are some retirees out there, and I know quite a bit of them, they don't have that blanket protecting them. They don't have the Uncle Sam protecting them. They don't have that pension coming every single month. They have to figure it out. And here's the kick of that. You got to do it at 70 years old, 65 years old. No, not the same level of energy. Not the same acumen, or your mind is not as sharp as before. So that sense of control, I do believe, especially for me, it was my therapy.
Sure.
Trying to protect my future, my family's future, and that idea that I always look for diversification, mitigating risk. That was the path that I wanted to take when I did what I did, to follow my own yes, to get my own yes, and change the pattern of the world, and build my own path as a true caminante.
Great job, honey. You know what I just came into my mind? Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Tell me about Michael. We
Well,
love Mike.
We sure do. What an incredible artist, and talk about entrepreneur. Yeah, and how he
perfection.
He
always
gave.
Perfection.
Do you remember they were like, do you want to give, what was it? There was it the house? There was something. What was it called?
He put his house for a mortgage, because he was running a production so expensive that nobody believed in, and he was just over budget. He was just doing all these things that he wanted to make sure that tour passed to history. And nobody believed in the guy, to the point that he mortgaged that beautiful ranch that he had.
That's right. Was it a children's
ranch? The ranch that he had, that he built, that he had a park and theme park and all that. And he put a loan on it for millions and millions of dollars.
He had to bet everything, basically.
He bet everything on it.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
Yeah.
And I think those are the risk takers that make a difference. They make a story. They make a change.
But let's also be honest. When your business becomes your life and really your lifeline, the pressure
is on.
The pressure is intense.
It is.
Do you see that?
I do see it. You know, I think it's part of the process. I think that's where you start proving yourself that, is it really only about money, or now you're trying to prove that you can do it? You can go against the current and prove that you can now make your own, that you can be a rainmaker. I use that term with my management team. You have to be a rainmaker. You got to create and make the things possible when there's no possibility. So I do believe that especially as somebody that had to go through that experience and start all over again in a different country, that you feel that deeper, and that there's an invisible weight to succeed, to prove that you're worth it, to prove that you're worth the person that you believe so much in a whole new world.
Sure.
So that pain was my motivator. That pain was my redemption time for me to take one step at a time to walk my own path. Yes.
And it's interesting because even our best qualities, even our best qualities can have, they can have a negative to them. And I was talking with a girlfriend of mine the other day about the hustle and, when does that hustle become unhealthy? Because it's hard. We do this every day, in and out. You get in a routine. You start to feel like you belong. You start to get this confidence. You start feeling motivated, and you just immerse. And then you're like, okay, well, hold on a second. I'm working 24/7. Am I sacrificing rest, relationships? Am I on my phone too much? Am I giving quality time to my marriage? Am I giving quality time to my kids? So this is interesting because she was sharing her heart with me about how her husband just like, it's never enough. And he's, they're just doing very well, and he's a great business guy. But she was like, when is it enough?
I think those levels will be different let's talk about us. I think enough for you is gonna mean different to me, right? But also, I think what is important, and no matter what that looks like, that there is a balance. I do think that sometimes there's so much ambition that a man or a woman can have that is willing to sacrifice it all, even marriage, even family. And I know quite a bit of people like that. Their objectives is so the goal and the height of that mountain is so high. I haven't seen one yet from the people that I have talked about this topic to crash yet in the process, because I do believe life puts things on the way for you to either redefine, redesign, pivot, right? But still the ambition is there. And I think the ones that can incorporate life together with family, wife, and also the wife or husband supports that vision or that ambition, as long as it is in a healthy manner, I think great achievements can happen when it's all in a natural flow of things, instead of sacrificing everything on the way.
Right.
Because I do believe, and I feel that my success started actually taking to other levels when I joined forces with you, when Luisito came, to this world, and family somehow,
Sure.
that energy,
Yes.
and I think everything started like moving around it because of what comes out of love, that I think that was part of a catapult, for us.
Sure.
Even though that ambition that I had personally was there all along, way before that. So I would be very respectful to respect the natural flows of things, especially around love and family and giving in and giving back to life. Because I just don't know how successful can you truly be reaching out that top of the mountain and doing it by yourself.
Sure. Yeah, you can become so laser focused.
Yes.
That you lose sight.
You lose sight of what's important, or what success is truly about. Because I don't think success is about numbers, having a particular number, in wealth, or I don't think that's what's truly success is. I think success is, if you ask me, is that plus family, your kids, the legacy that you leave behind, the teachings that you can pass along in your journey, the other people that you help grow, and also chase for that dream or leadership. So I think the definition of success may have to be redefined for those that are chasing those big dreams.
I love that.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I would say learned over the last year is conserving energy. conserving your energy, your emotions, your time for what matters. That's not to just, put everybody to the, but you do only have so much. And if you are like constantly spending your energy in areas that are just draining you, or on situations that are just
depletes you.
And if you're a business owner, or if you're a mom, or if you're,
burn out.
Yeah. And let's be real, hustle isn't healing if it burns you out.
So what you're saying is redemption doesn't have to mean revenge. And that's kind of how we started it. Or proving people that they were wrong. Sometimes redemption can just mean that you're proving yourself that you're more than what happened to you.
I love that. When you start to create from that place, not this place of fear or pain, but purpose, that's where this magic, and that's what I've really seen with you. That's where this magic really starts to happen.
So let's think about it for a second. I don't think that if you're following this path of redemption, it's not about making money. I think it's about helping others. I think it's about creating jobs, inspiring our kids, leaving a legacy behind. I think that's truly what puts everything into one sentence when it comes to the context that we're talking about.
And I say this all the time. You're going to be like, stop. But and enjoying the journey. Like, it's not about the destination. Like, we're all going to go to the same place one day.
You say that quite a bit. Yeah, you're right.
It's about, I say that with the kids all the time.
The kids are going to be waking up one day. It's not about the journey. It's about the destiny.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Right. You're
because we're living. We're human beings,
yes,
breathing, and it's such a blessing that we still have breath in our lungs and an opportunity to pour out love and teach and inspire and help, and at the same time get hurt because other people are not us, but other people. No, because we're flawed. We're flawed, and we hurt others, and other people hurt us, and we're still healing. But the key is that we're healing, and we're not stuck, and we're healing out loud. So, so
here's the question for you guys, for you. So what is it that you're building, and what are you healing while you're building it?
Sometimes your greatest wound becomes your greatest gift, especially when you lean into it, and when you embrace it, when you learn from it, when you try to heal from it. In entrepreneurship, it's not just about the business. It's really about becoming whole again.
So if no one, guys, open the door for you, it's okay. You're allowed to build your own door if that is what it takes for you to walk your own path as a Caminante. We are walking the path right beside you. We went through that. When I say that you can build your own door, yes, you can. Don't wait for somebody to open that door. Let the world show you what is out there for you. But that doesn't mean that is the only view for yourself. You can also change that view and create your own view out of it and just go against it. Build your own path. The world doesn't have to tell you what you're worth or what you can do. That's not the way it works. And some people just get stuck with that. You can create your own path. You can be truly your own rainmaker.
And don't wait for all the answers and the perfect. That was my hardest thing.
Was it really?
Don't wait for the right time and, somebody to come and wait till you have all the answers. Like, that's so hard because there is this mitigated risk. Like, you can't just.
And you have to plan too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's hard. And I don't know the answer for that.
I would say this, and I will give you the answer. I will feel comfortable doing it, sweetie, because I love you. Okay. And you give me that confidence. I do think that you still have to plan, because I've been with business partners in different partnerships, and they take the approach of, but no more research and plan and business plan. And then they just take the fast approach, which is you just do it when you do it, which I've seen entrepreneurs super successful that's their approach. I think that can last few times, but I would say most of the time you're going to hit a wall. Because you have to plan, you got to do your research, you got to be able to have enough of information to mitigate risk. So when you make the decision and you pull the trigger, you have considered all those things. So if this is the episode that is resonating, calling your name, doing something inside of you, what is it called?
Stirring.
Stirring. You see that word? Stirring something inside of you. This episode did the job for you. This is what it's about. This is what the Caminante podcast is about.
It's so good. I love your story. I love this time with you and you guys as well. Make sure that you subscribe here on Spotify and YouTube and Apple. Follow us, the Caminante Pod, on Instagram and TikTok. Send in your messages. We love to hear from you. Share this episode with someone who needs some encouragement or is building their dream against the odds.
We can do this path and we can walk it together, because this is what this podcast is about. You're not alone. We're all in this. We're all
walking.
True Caminantes.
That's
We're
right.
all walking. Thank you guys. To the next one. Have a great day. Love you all. And please send us your comments, because we feed from them. Love you all. Thank you, sweetie.
Bye, guys.